Thank you for checking us out this week on Convincing Idiots. We have the Battle of the Bands continues. The bracket is moving on. We have some of y'all favorites, maybe like Rolling Stones against the Foo Fighters. We have Fleetwood Mac against Tool, and so many more battles to discuss. You've come to the right place if you're looking for rock and roll and a bunch of nerdy stuff. So stay tuned, get comfortable, and let's start the show.
All right. Test.
Test.
Call it again? Convincing Idiots.
Called it ham gravy.
I informed them that I sided with the stat man, not just anyone's opinion, the stat man Brian Fisher.
These kids today.
Jingle All the Way is in fact the best Christmas movie of all time.
I need to get Grandma a present, and my herpes is flaring up. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yo. I'm the millennial
We're
Santa.
three friends representing three different generations. That's our whole shtick. That's our thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nick got to hold poop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm standing in the sea
Caucasian.
breeze, holding a turd, just mightily. I'm just going hitting hats.
Anyway, on a lighter note,
And welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the vodcast. Welcome to the broadcast. Boys and girls, welcome to the show. This is Convincing Idiots. My name's Dean, the Zennial.
I'm Brian Gen X.
And my name is Nick, and I'm a millennial. And if you have not joined us before, welcome to Convincing Idiots. We are a weekly podcast of three friends representing three different generations, and each and every week we discuss pop and nerd culture and things of the like in which we so enjoy, and we hope that you do too. And if you do enjoy all of the things that I just said, well, we would also like to invite you to come and find us on all of our social media accounts. You might be asking yourself, there are so many social media platforms. Where might I find them all? This is just too much information. Don't worry. It's all conveniently packaged for you on our Linktree. So all you have to do is Google Convincing Idiots Linktree, Linktree. And there you can like, subscribe, rate, review, follow, share with your friends. You can also find where you can listen to this podcast each and every week. That's right. We are on all of your, or at least most of your favorite podcast platforms. You can also find that information and so much more on our website, convincingidiots.wordpress.com. Shoot on over that way. We also have a merch store as well. You can, if you like what you hear, there are ways that you can help support the show. So please feel free to do so. If none of those work for you, you're being a little bit difficult, but it's okay. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
We also are available on Boss Code Media, Boss Code TV. If you're not familiar, they are a content creator-driven platform in which you can find ourselves and our friends on It Came From Gen X, and so much more. So if you have a smartphone, which I'm guessing you probably do, or perhaps even a smart television, you can download the Boss Code TV app today and check out what we're talking about. So we are back for another riveting episode of Convincing Idiots. Brian,
What are
my
we at, 137?
what's that? Oh, what episode is this?
137.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds right and good and fine. Yes.
I don't even have that shit written down, and I know it.
Well, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I get to remember one thing each week.
One new
you
thing
got
or just one whole thing?
one whole thing.
There's one whole
That's it.
thought
No,
I
So
can contain at one given time.
this is 136.
Oh, you better use your all that brain power on something else.
all right, let me
That
think.
one didn't
I'll
work.
try to remember something else.
Yep.
Sorry.
That's all right. It's okay.
Well, while Dean's wheels are turning over there, Brian, my oldest and dearest friend, how have you been?
I am well, thank you. So we're shooting this on Thursday, April the 6th. A little bit tired this evening, but for good stuff. Last
Why?
evening, April the 5th, I saw Bruce Springsteen up in Cleveland for the very first time in my life. So
The fucking boss.
yeah, I know this is a rock themed episode here, and I bought these tickets last year, like September or something like that. My girlfriend Allie's a huge fan, so I wanted to surprise her. Fast forward all those months, poor thing gets sick, can't go. So she wasn't able to go to the concert last night. Yeah, poor thing.
What?
So I did take Skinner from the Gen X podcast. We've been to a few concerts together over the years. So, but we still had a great time. And all the things you hear about Bruce Springsteen, he puts on a great show. You got to see him live. 100% correct. He's about 70 years old, whatever he is. He's sounded great, played great, great guitar, harmonica. The E Street Band was fantastic. He played
Was
for about
Max
3
Weinberg
hours.
there?
He was.
Of course he was.
Yes,
Hell
Little
yeah.
Steven, Max Weinberg. I think it's Clarence Thomas's, Jesus Christ. Clarence. Well, what a
That's
full
going
pot
to be
that
a
is.
way different
Poor guy.
podcast.
Yeah, way different pocket. Clarence Clemens, of the E Street Band, the famous saxophone player. I think it's his nephew that plays with the E Street Band now.
Okay.
Very, very good. Anyway, came out at 7:30, played for like 3 hours almost straight. No breaks.
Wow.
He did like a several encore set. Just killed it. Great time. So kudos to the boss. I mean, it's him and his band. Just rock and roll professionals.
Yeah.
He's like 70 years old, and
He's
he's
been at
doing
it for a
saying.
long time.
That's what I'm saying.
We have
Great.
no reason to complain when you think about that like that.
No.
Like-
Great shape, the whole thing. Just fantastic. So
Yeah.
kudos.
Is he married to the guitar player? Is that his wife?
So she's
Correct,
a
or-
singer, the backup
Steven
singer.
Van Zandt? I don't think so.
She's
I don't know which one. Yeah, isn't his wife in the band somehow?
Yes,
some way? Okay.
she's been a backup singer for some time. Yes.
Okay.
Yep. But
Very
yeah,
cool.
yes, that was a lot of fun, and just that was my highlight of the week here. And then tonight, actually, to this evening.
This is your highlight of the week?
Well, last night was
Of
good.
course.
Tonight was also very good because I got to meet for the very first time my sweet grand puppy. So my
Aw.
lovely daughter Peyton and Joey, her very nice boyfriend, just got a puppy this past weekend. A very sweet golden doodle, Callie. So very, very sweet puppy, cute as can be.
That's
So
why I call Nick as my golden doodle.
yeah, that's a nice nickname. Anyway, that's it. So nice couple.
He stopped
events
caring.
of the
He's
week.
like, you know what? I'm taking the headphones off.
He's talking
don't even
to FT1, I believe.
That's right, FT1, the producer.
That's right. What's FT1 have to say there, Nick?
What's that?
You're
Oh,
talking to FT1 there.
FT1 just made an appearance there. Did a little wave on the side. FT2's over there somewhere as well, dressed
Very
as
nice.
Mario.
Very nice. Very nice. So
What does
that's
FT
it.
stand for?
Yeah,
They
I
want to
don't
know.
Gotta keep
now.
listening. Gotta
Yeah.
keep listening.
T stand for.
It's
Yeah,
just it's
gotta keep
real-
listening.
It's that's right. It's
We'll
called
tell
a
you when you're
teaser.
18. Mhm.
Yeah,
We'll tell you when you're 18.
Mhm.
What do you
Yeah.
mean?
it's something to look forward to
Mm-hmm.
in
You're
a couple different ways.
Yep.
Mhm.
On your 18th birthday, we'll tell you.
Yes, the children will be the next generation of idiots.
It's all right. We're gonna
Yes.
hand this down. Maybe
You
you
have
guys
no
will
choice,
get
I'm afraid.
maybe get 26 listeners.
It's in your
That's right.
genes, really.
yeah.
And I'll be the semi-smart.
And you can
idiot.
pass it on to your FT. All right, good night. Love
That's
you.
right.
Love you.
Yeah. He can replace me. He'll be the semi-smart idiot. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. So, Dina, how are you, sir? What
You're
have you been
putting
up
a
to?
lot on yourself there, bud. I'm actually insulted. That's what I am.
You're insulted.
Yeah. See, highlight is either a puppy, Bruce Springsteen, but let's not forget that you watched Wrestle-mania with
Yes,
with
I
Nick
did
and
last
I.
Saturday. Yes,
That's
last,
right.
that was
Sat
fun.
in the
Last
same
Saturday.
room, drank beer, and watched Wrestle-mania.
That
and
was fun.
Bruce Springsteen is still the highlight.
That
Little
was fun.
insulted. Little
John
insulted.
was there. I got to see
In
John
Brian's
as well.
defense, he
Mhm.
he was imagining himself sweatily grappling with Bruce Springsteen the entire time. So
Okay.
it was kind of
All right.
You know.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of people in that crowd
checks
were.
out.
I guarantee it. Yeah.
Mhm. No, but we did. We all watched Wrestle-mania.
Good time.
I'm a professional wrestling fan, so I enjoy the
You get
WrestleMania
paid to
when it
watch
comes around.
wrestling?
That's right. Paid in boners. So yeah, I don't know. I would like to thank you two for indulging me. I know you two are not fans and probably found it quite obnoxious or silly, but I do appreciate you guys enduring for the time being and
That was
coming
fun.
over and enjoying it with me.
It was fun. I haven't watched wrestling in a very long time, but it was entertaining. It was
Okay.
good. You forget again, I haven't watched it in a long time, but there's still people performing very difficult athletic feats. I mean, it really is.
True.
Yeah.
With the flips and they're really doing some damage on their body. And there was a couple times people lucky they didn't get seriously hurt.
Yeah.
So
Night 2, you guys didn't see, but one of the guys got hit with a ladder.
Yes, I did. I watched
And
it in the hotel
You
room.
watched it?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. But he split probably a good 7 inches into his head. And instead of actually stopping the match what they were trying to do, he went over and they just glued it real quick so he could finish the match.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. Yeah, everything, it's it is a performance. It is staged or whatnot, but there's some real fucking danger, and those guys are really putting their bodies on the line, especially just for entertainment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, I enjoyed it. I grew up a wrestling fan, but like I don't watch it anymore or anything. But like still to this day, when I said to you guys when we were watching it, but I'm like, I watch hockey a ton, and it's like I'll see somebody go awkwardly into the boards, just kind of fall weird, and I'm like, ooh, I bet they're tweaked their knee. I bet they're like, ugh, that looked bad. And then you're watching these guys like balance on top of a fucking rope and dive out of the ring onto another human body on the concrete and like roll. I'm just like, and they like you said, they do it all the time. It's just, it is
Every
really
night.
wild when you put it into perspective. Like, I mean, you can say what you will.
McMahon. Nick, you remember Shane McMahon?
Oh yeah, yeah.
He came back as a surprise to beat up the Miz.
Okay.
Cleveland's own the Miz, and the Miz bounces off the rope, come to him. Shane McMahon does a leapfrog in the air. He goes under him and he just lands, ripped his quad. Like legitimately falls to the ground. They had to like stop the whole thing. So this whole bit is now messed up because Shane McMahon is laying there. Like they have to roll him out, and like he tore the quad off of his leg. So there was an audible called. Snoop Dogg was kind of the co-host. Remember him being in with the Miz?
Yeah.
He gets back in the ring and punches the Miz in the face.
Who did he drive to the ring the night was it Rey Mysterio? He drove somebody to the ring, right? Okay, yeah.
So Snoop Dogg, I'm guessing somebody probably told him, like, went over in his ear and said, "Hey, you need to try to fix this. Try to help fix this." So Snoop Dogg improvs, goes in, does a great wrestling working punch on the Miz, and then drops the worst people's elbow on him, and then pins him for the win. So Snoop Dogg won a match at WrestleMania.
Nice.
All right.
Add that to the resume.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, yeah, other than that, that's everything that's going on with me. Other than, I will, some reviews I'll have later, but other than that, I'm good. Nikolai, what about you?
Yeah, I'm good. So since last we spoke on the podcast, Lane had the Destination Imagination State competition, which they competed in, and then they further advanced to globals. So next stop would be Kansas City for that if the team decides to go and do all that stuff. So very proud of them and their whole team there. They just did a fantastic job. So very cool there. So that was Saturday night, like you said, WrestleMania. Thank you again, Dean, for having us. It was a lot of fun. Good time hanging out and just kind of watching, like I said, both appreciating wrestling, you know what I mean? Like with the athleticism, and also like some of the storylines are just still.
It's
so
professional wrestling.
hilarious.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. I know we all
go
enjoyed
in realizing what you're watching.
Rey Mysterio's son, who was involved in a Christmas Eve domestic dispute on the front lawn, and then in turn was sent to the local penitentiary to serve his time, and he is now a very hardened criminal. I enjoyed that very much. But yeah, that was a really good time Saturday. And then Sunday, so the kids are on spring break this week. We are, like you said, recording this on Thursday, so we're at the tail end of spring break. So we went to Ann Arbor, Michigan for a couple nights, went and got a hotel with a pool and swam a little bit. And so that was Sunday through Tuesday.
Is that where you got that shirt?
That is where I got. We got this at the M Den over there.
There we go.
The Michigan team store. They are currently, as we're recording this, are participating in the Frozen Four, which is the NCAA Final Four hockey team, remaining in the national championship. So I'm rooting them on right now. But yeah, really good time. We went to this really cool. I also want to shout out a really cool place. I'm gonna hold up their sticker. There's their pride sticker. The Vault of Midnight is an awesome comic book store in Ann Arbor, Michigan, right on campus there, downtown. Fantastic place. I mean, the whole upstairs, I mean, they've got tons of everything you could nerd out with. I mean, they got t-shirts and they got, comic, the book, the compilations up there and things like that, the collections, I should say, busts and figures, things like that, collectibles. And then downstairs is like the biggest collection of back catalog comics I've ever seen. The whole downstairs is just up one side, down the other. Everything's alphabetized, and you just go through and pick through comics and stuff. While I was there, I picked up the collection of issues 1 through 5, the complete collection of the Spider-Punk series that came out at the end of last year. So I'm excited to read that. So picked that up. That was really cool. Went to a couple cool places, nice bookstores and things like that. We just basically spent the whole day on Monday just walking around campus and stuff like that. Really cool arcade that I sent you guys pictures from called Pinball Pete's. That was awesome.
That looked awesome.
Same deal, man. It was old school arcade. No tokens, no nothing. Just change out. They got cups everywhere. You fill the cups up with quarters. I mean, there must have been, there had to have been no less than 50 pinball machines just all over the place. They were up one wall, down the other, and tucked away in different parts. Pool tables. They had this Star Wars. It was almost like it was called a pod, where you get in there and it was completely immersive. The screen wrapped all the way around you, and you've got the controls, and you're moving in it and stuff like that. And that was really cool, where you get to fly the X-wing and pick a mission and things like that. So just really cool time Saturday. And then Sunday on the way out, we stopped at on the U of M campus, the Museum of Natural History, which, by the way, is completely free and insanely awesome. There again, you could lose. We were there for probably a good 3 hours, but they just, you could, if you wanted to go through every single exhibit and read every little thing and experience you could easily spend a 6-hour day there. So that was really cool. We hit that on the way out, and just nice time all around. Just nice little spring break week that it's been. So that's, I think, about it.
Very cool. Now, you said you sent the kids into the dispensary for the while.
That's right. Well, I placed an order online, and I was like, "Here, take my ID," and then just let them know that you're picking up on my behalf, and they shouldn't give you any problems. And depending on who the bud tender is, the bud tender may be too blazed to even notice that you're not the person on the ID. So just go in there and grab what you need. So
wow, man, that guy's so little, man.
That's not cool, man. Don't talk about his height like that. Just give him stuff, let him go.
So if I will,
you will.
I will. I have one more little story. So Friday night, Brian and I and Megan went to eat.
Did you find the place you were looking for?
Let me
I meant to ask you after I left your house on Saturday. I was like, all right. I didn't even ask them. I wonder if they even found the place they were talking about looking for.
So there's a speakeasy in Cuyahoga Falls, and on the website it says "Find us." It doesn't give you a specific address. It says "Find us." So you gotta go on clues or whatever, right? So we kind of had an idea of the area. So we went to eat at this place. Burger was okay. So we go to leave, and I noticed this one place. I had been in this area before as stuff was being built, and this area is being built up. And I'm like, I don't remember this. It was a
temp agency. And like, I don't remember this temp agency being here. And that F, like, why would they make the F in this
thing so weird. I'm like, it's like 9:00 at night. It's dark. So I'm like, we'll walk up, pull the door, it opens. All right, here we go. So we're going around looking for
Breaking and entering.
well, we're going around looking on the walls, lifting things. There's at one point there's an X there in front of the desk, and I'm standing there, and like this flashing lights, like they're taking a picture or something. I'm like, oh, this is they're gonna notice. They're gonna let us in, and we're walking around lifting things up, going in closets, and then Brian goes, guys, this is an actual office. This isn't. I don't think this is part of it.
BD.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't break in.
Right.
The door was open. So there's a picture. Those people have a picture of me standing there so happy that I thought I had solved it. So I'm standing in front.
A camera came on for sure behind the desk. So it lit up. A camera lit up and was shining on us. I looked it up on the map. It's like there's this business. I'm like, yeah, it's time to go.
So yeah. We were just rummaging through office materials, and I mean, we didn't like get into like,
Nothing was taken. Nothing was
we didn't
damaged.
take anything.
It was a mistake.
Right. We didn't look through files or anything like that, or we didn't actually pick things up off people's desks or whatever. So, we didn't.
I would just like to state for the record that you will not find any trace of me being with these two. You asked why I don't hang out with you, because you guys commit crimes. And I don't want to, I'm a dad. I don't need this. I've got a life to uphold. I can't be fucking up like this. So there you go. I would like to state for the record, I was not with these two on Friday night. So there you go.
So, Brian and I now we're going to probably have to get tattooed. Teardrops on our face, like
Dom Mysterio.
Dom Mysterio. We're hardened criminals. We will go everywhere in a paddy wagon.
Sure, yeah.
And we have to wear lucha libre masks as well. But I'm okay with that.
Can I ask a question? So, how do you know about the speakeasy in general? Like to know that
word of
how
mouth.
did you? Okay.
It was an online article as well. Yeah.
Okay, so someone you know's been there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We did find it.
But it's the fun.
We ultimately did find it, and we went in, and I asked the guy. I said, "Hey, that building does that have anything to do with you guys?" And he's like, "No." I'm like, "Yeah, you might want to let somebody know they should go lock that door."
All right, before people just start wandering in. Yeah.
And then, I mean, we didn't get it in the place anyway because there's like a 4-hour wait. So we went over to this the Tiki bar, Tiki Underground.
4-hour wait? Was it the Roxbury with the?
Yeah, no shit, right?
Small. Very small.
So we went over to the Tiki Underground. Have you ever been there, Nick? On Front Street?
I don't think so.
It is so awesome. This place is, I mean, it is tchotchked up.
Where is it on Front Street? Like, what's it by?
There's a Hi-Ho Brewery, kind of block 2 down from there.
Is it the old Hunts, Brian?
I never was in Hunts. It's a very small place.
I bet it's Hunts. Yeah.
Okay.
I bet it, because that changed hands. I bet that's what it was.
It has, I mean, there's skulls everywhere, anchors, pirate themed. Every drink had rum in it.
Great drinks.
Great drinks, very strong, but very cool. Great place. But when we were done with that, we went walking back because they checked in and they're like, no, it's not going to happen tonight. You have to come back some other time. And I even tried the door at the place that we broke into earlier, and they didn't lock it. It was still open.
We went to that Irish bar that was there too. Hung out there the rest of the night.
Yes,
that was fun.
Mickey's on Front Street. Very good.
That was where we went to, Nick, for my birthday. That's not an Irish bar.
Oh, okay. Yeah, was crafted cocktails or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Or craft social club. That's
craft social. Yeah, that's it. Yep. But it was cool. It was fun. But good time. Yeah, that was Friday. It seemed like a longer time ago, but yeah, that was.
It does.
Fun. Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to get that breaking and entering story out there. So. This is what happens when you hang out with Brian. He gets you into all sort of shenanigans.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Bad influence.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. All right. Well, Nick, have you seen anything interesting when we get into some idiot reviews here? So over the past week or so, I'm going to recommend. Go ahead, sir.
Mainly, we've been on the move a lot. So the main thing I can talk about is yesterday we went to the movie theater to see the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Oh, how is it?
So it was fine. I mean, you don't have to go rush out and
All
see
right.
it. I wasn't super blown away with it.
Actually, we were planning on going tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, my kids loved it, which is really that's
Right.
what it's for. I will say it's from the same studio that does like Despicable Me and Minions. I don't get the fascination of those movies. I think those movies suck. Like the Despicable Me and the Minions, they're not
I
funny.
agree.
I don't understand. I just don't understand. But I enjoyed this movie more than any of those that I've seen. But I don't know. I think it paid a lot of definitely there was a lot of fan service for people that played the video games. They really incorporate probably all of the Mario video games at some point or another.
Sure.
So there's a lot of great voice talent in it. Charlie Day is Luigi, and Chris Pratt's Mario, Jack Black's Bowser, and the list goes on and on. There's all throughout that movie tons of talent. But yeah,
Does Chris Pratt owe us an apology?
I don't think so. I think they told the. That's what Robin asked me. She's like, was it weird that I'm like, they touch on it a little bit, like the accent thing, kind of. I don't know. I think they towed the line with it really well. It wasn't like they were, doing an Italian voice the whole time, but they definitely have like a little bit of a Brooklyn Italian kind of, cadence, I guess. But yeah, like I just think the movie as a whole, storyline wise, it was very strict to like the video game and things like that, and it doesn't really, I don't know, it just, I was expecting a little more. I don't really know how to describe it. It wasn't bad. Certainly if you like the video games or your kids like the video games, definitely go see it. But I don't think it's one you got to rush out and see right now. Like it was fine for me, a casual fan of the games and the franchise. It was fine. So middle of the road. I give it. I forget what the interrupting Dean scale was, but I'd give it.
The lower the better.
The lower the interruptions, the better. I'd say a good 5 to 6 interrupting Deans. It wasn't like it's middle of the road. It was so it was fine. So, but that was pretty good. And then like I said, we've just been. Oh, you know what I watched in the hotel room while we were in Ann Arbor, which I've been wanting to watch, just hadn't had the chance to. The 30 for 30 on the Baltimore Ravens that won the Super Bowl. Holy shit! Like first, there's just so many great personalities like on that team. Shannon Sharp, Tony Saragusa, and Ray Lewis, and even Bill. I wanted to say Belichick. What was the Brian? Help me out there. The coaches. Billick. Brian Billick? Is that his name?
Brian Billick.
Yes. He's fantastic. He's just great. Yeah. But that was really good. I remember, watching that Super Bowl and really pulling for that team. And watching that 30 for 30 was just awesome. So it just happened to be on and I watched it. So that was really cool. Like I said, it takes place while they're kind of reliving that season, and they take you week by week and matchup by matchup from the very beginning and heading into the season all the way through to the Super Bowl, and then a little bit thereafter and rolling into the next season. But that's really cool.
Murder. That's no big deal.
Yeah, right.
That's all.
He didn't do anything. He just helped cover up what may have happened. I don't know. Yeah, I don't care. I'm a big Ray Lewis fan. I've always been. It's one of the best ever to do it.
That's still a crime.
I know it's frowned upon, but
no, it's not frowned upon. It is illegal. There's a statute in the criminal code.
I get that some people don't think too fondly on that that's it. That they don't like it or whatever. But you're young.
It's not unlike walking into an office building that was unlocked.
Yeah, I mean, you have accidentally committed crimes. I mean, it happens to everybody.
Same thing.
I've done stuff, right? I stole a pack of gum when I was a kid. We've all done shit. Okay, let's not get on a high horse here. Okay, especially when it comes to a Hall of Famer. Let's calm down.
High horse, are you at this point?
But no, that was very good. Yeah, so like I've said before, I love documentaries, and anything that revolves around sports always just has me right away. So, but that was really good, and I think that's probably it that I have watched. So, Brian, what have you seen?
But the main new thing I saw, I got hooked on a series on Netflix. It just dropped recently. It's the number one. I think it's the number one streaming TV series on Netflix right now. Night Agent. So you might have seen the previews
Night
for this.
Agent.
Yeah, I guess it's based on a novel. I don't know how many episodes there are, but I got sucked into this storyline. I'm just watching it. I want to keep watching until I'm done. So I won't spoil anything here, but basically it's a FBI agent. He gets accused of being maybe a part of a bombing, so he's sort of disgraced a little bit, and then they bring him back in and put him on this night shift answering this phone for like a special branch or forces part of the FBI or something like that, where he's answering his phone at night or something. But anyways, he gets pulled
He's
into
not allowed to answer it during the day?
No, it's just that's his shift. He works overnight. So it's a special phone that agents call if they need some special help or something like that. And then he winds up having to protect this girl. Again, I won't give all the details and everything like that, but just very good drama, very intriguing. Some very good acting and compelling storylines. So definitely check out Night Agent if you like that type of crime drama type of thing. So and they're trying to solve the case. It's one of those shows where you kind of know who's involved. They show something where, okay, this guy's over here and he's definitely involved in something shady. You don't know who he is. And then later in another episode, it's like, oh shit, it's that guy. And he's, and you're surprised about who this person is in relation to, being part of the government or something like that. So it just kind of walks you through it that way while they're trying to put the pieces together in the actual storyline. So, like I said, very, very good. Night Agent on Netflix. Definitely worth a watch. Yep. Dean?
Was very excited to watch the season finale of Quantum Leap.
Mm-hmm.
They are bringing it back for season 2. Not, no spoilers, but they put a lot into it to, if you like time travel and like really nuanced, nerdy plots of time travel, this last episode was definitely for you. It was a lot of fan service, a lot of fun action, it was very well written, the way they were able to take the whole season. Everything was kind of adding up to this one event, this mystery box one event type situation. I think they did it very well. I was very excited to see it. I'm looking forward to season 2. Again, without you guys knowing anything about it or whatnot, there's not a whole lot to say to it, but I did watch it. I was very excited about it. It met my expectations. But actually, my other thing I want to suggest is another podcast. Okay.
You're not supposed to do that. Brian is staring daggers through you right now.
Are we
Unless
not?
it came from Gen X.
No,
Are we serious?
It's Gen X. Don't you fucking talk about it. Or one of his other 18 podcasts. Don't you fucking
This is
bring it up.
different than what we do. It is a
Of course you can
storytelling.
recommend something. Go ahead.
It was a storytelling podcast. It's called Infamous America.
Mm-hmm.
Is the name of the podcast, and each season's about 6 episodes long, but he tells a story about something infamous in America, whether it be like a crime heist or whatnot. And the one I just listened to, it's a couple seasons old. It was kind of an almost I worked a very long day today, and so I got to listen to the whole thing. It was about the Black Sox, the 1919 World Series with the Black Sox, shoeless Joe Jackson, gambling and whatnot. Very good listen. The guy's a hell of a storyteller. Does a lot of good research, and yeah. So if you're into like storytelling type podcasts, Infamous America, and then he has another one called Stories of the Old West or something. It's really good too. Again, each season's only like 6 episodes long. So yeah, Infamous America. Nice. If you like the history about the World Series, and he does the first episode goes through like the history of baseball, which is really fucking cool. So So, yep, there you go.
I actually that brings me to I actually have a podcast to recommend as well that just started this week. Brian, I don't know if you have been a part of the Daily Pump, Arnold's daily email thing that he started, the newsletter.
No, I'm missing out here. It sounds.
He started it's a daily. It's like a 5-minute read every morning where it's different things, health tips, workout tips. There might be recipes involved for a healthy meal.
Sure.
There might be different things, tips, and
like
just
it.
a healthier way of living. So now he has turned it into a podcast, and it started, I believe, on Monday was the first episode. And it's cool because it is more or less the newsletter, but it's Arnold actually saying it to you, speaking
How long
it to
is the
you,
episode?
and it's fantastic. They're at like 5 to 8 minutes a day. Like it's the perfect way to start my day.
I like
it's
it.
the first
Okay.
thing I turn on, and I have Arnold in my ear giving me tips about how to feel better, do better, live better, whatever. And it's just fucking awesome. So
I would
check it
mind
out.
starting my day
The
with
Daily
Arnold
Pump.
Schwarzenegger. Why not?
That's
worse,
right, the Daily
there's worse
Pump.
ways.
Absolutely.
I mean,
yeah.
you need something.
Yes.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Both
Yeah.
these.
Yeah.
Yep.
Really get you going.
Mm-hmm.
Pumped.
You either
Yeah.
find Arnold Schwarzenegger or Jesus, one of them. But y'all need something.
That's great. That's great. Oh, good stuff. Don't ever fucking do that again. All right, so let's. No, I'm kidding, of course. All right, we're going to take a break here, guys.
This will be edited out promptly. You will never hear this.
Well, because
ahead.
The perfect way to kind of intertwine that, right? You're like, I want to suggest these other podcasts, and Brian's like, nope, ain't gonna happen. I will edit it out. But you can if I talk about Blake Insurance in the middle of talking about all these podcasts, right? So he has to keep it in.
Sneaky Dean.
Because Blake Insurance is an Erie insurance agency located right here in Barberton, Ohio. They provide auto, home, renters, and business insurance with honesty, decency, and affordability. Erie Insurance is above all else in service. You want to call 234-571-5359 or visit BlakeInsuranceLLC.com for your free 5-minute quote today. And when you do, tell them that this podcast, Convincing Idiots, sent you. But it's also cool to listen to some other podcasts if needed.
Yes. Let Ian Blake pump up your insurance today. Give him a call at Erie Insurance Agency.
I love it. All right, guys, we're going to take a break.
He's going to beat us.
We're going to get pumped up.
I know it.
We're going to get a nice scolding.
Mhm.
And we're going to come back with some pop culture headlines before we get into our main segment, the continuation of the highly anticipated Battle of the Band Bracket Part 2.
To deuce.
That's
Anticipation is killing me.
That's right. I think we
I
have.
can see it on your face.
I think we have Doctor Strange versus Devo.
Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, something like that. Yep.
Surprise! The battle bracket's back.
That's right. So stay tuned for that. We'll be right back.
Dr. Love. This is Dr. Pepper Cherry. It has a kiss of cherry flavor. This devilish elixir has a kiss of cherry.
Dad, it's not kiss. It's kiss of cherry. It's amazingly smooth. Be smooth.
Dr. Pepper Cherry is amazingly smooth. Trust me, I'm a doctor.
Three, two.
Shoot. Welcome back to Convincing Idiots. Some pop culture headlines here, gentlemen.
I hear they're
Well,
amazing. Let's hear them.
That's right. Well, it's a
Sorry,
new
my
month.
knuckles are killing me. Like Brian just slapped our hands with rulers for talking about the podcast while we were on
Virtually.
break, and
Yep.
Brian, that was his fisting hand.
got to take all the rings off my fingers.
Better than losing them in me.
That's right. They usually just fall right out, but never lost for long.
I just a little shimmy. Fall out like you just won a goddamn prize.
All right. Well, Nick saw a new movie that just with the Mario Brothers movie in April. I know it's a new month, a lot of new movies coming out here. Just a couple that caught my eye. I just thought were kind of interesting that I'm planning to check out here. You can comment on it if you wish, and then if there's any others that you're maybe looking forward to in the new month here. But there's a new movie about Brooke Shields coming out. So it's like it's a autobiography. I think she does this. I know she's
Really? She made a movie about herself?
Well, it's a documentary.
Like
It's a biopic. Excuse me, it's a biopic. So
Okay. You said auto, and I was like,
I'm
that's
sorry.
weird.
It's a biopic. Excuse me. But she's starting to promote
My
it. I think
biopic's going to be auto too, but it's going to be autoerotic asphyxiation.
Yep, that's right. We be sure to tune in for that. So I know she's going to be on Howard Stern tomorrow. I think if I heard correctly, but just an interesting story. So you kind of forget that she was a very famous actress since she was a very young girl, and it was a whole weird thing where she was kind of sexualized as a young person. She was very young. And remember that Blue
Lagoon movie? Yeah, she was
14
naked
years
at
old.
14 years old.
Yeah,
What?
and the kid was 18. Yeah, just weird.
Her mother signed the release so she could do a nude scene in the Blue Lagoon movie, and she's only 14 years old.
Whoa!
Yeah, just very strange. So she talks about that. So I'm intrigued by this. So I'm going to check that out. So it's Pretty Baby, Brooke Shields. This one I think is I'm very looking forward to this one as well. This is actually already out. This was released yesterday as well, along with the Super Mario Brothers movie, Air. Have you seen this?
Oh, did that come out yesterday? Yeah, I want to see that for sure.
That looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ben Affleck was I saw him on one of the talk show circuits talking about this here. Very excited about that. I'm very interested in this. So it's the story of how Nike got Michael Jordan signed to then made the Air Jordan shoe, which obviously was a huge brand thing. So it's really, if I'm not mistaken, it was the first major shoe tied to an athlete.
Yeah.
And
well, they talk about that
go ahead.
on. Remember the Last Dance? There was I found that segment of the documentary really interesting, where they talk about like he wanted Converse. He wanted to go to Converse because I can't remember. Somebody else had a shoe deal with Converse. I don't know if it was
Magic wasn't
Johnson?
it? Magic and Bird had the weapon thing or something.
He really wanted Converse, but his dad, I think, is the one that made him. He's like, just go listen to the Nike people. Like, just, we'll hear him out and see what happens. Converse just basically shoot him away. No pun intended. But they, and then oddly enough, it's just kind of funny the way it worked out. And now Nike owns Converse. And so it's kind of funny. But but anyway, I was going to say that whole part of it.
You have a weird sense of humor.
So it'd be kind of cool. Kind of cool to see.
Yeah, I want to see this. That we'd mentioned recently that there's not a lot of movies that we've been to that weren't blockbuster or kid movies for you guys. This would be one I wouldn't mind going and seeing this in the theater. I just think it'd be a fun big screen experience. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see here. The 14th. This is another one I want to see. Renfield.
Yes, absolutely. I can't wait.
Nicolas Cage is Dracula. It's about it's a big circles around it's a comedy Renfield.
Too.
It's a dark comedy. So Renfield is his servant who kind of sets up Dracula to killing and cleans up things and just kind of keeps him alive and that type of stuff. So looks very good. So I'm definitely interested in this. And Nick, I don't know if you saw this on the 19th of April. The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always.
Once movie. And Always, absolutely.
I assume you're familiar with this, yeah.
Yes, very excited. Yeah, a lot of the original cast.
The original cast?
Back. Most of them. Yeah, most of them.
One of them's dead, right?
A few of them, yeah, but
A few of
well,
them?
a few of them, yeah. The original Yellow Ranger passed away. She was in a car accident many years ago. She long since passed. But the original Black Ranger.
So they in fact weren't killed by giant robots.
Well, she kind of was. If you can, it was a car accident.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, not robots, but it's the original Black Ranger, Walter Jones, who was a close personal friend. I met him when I was a kid, so it's just no big deal. He's in it. Yeah, of course he does. The original Blue Ranger that played Billy, David Yost, is in it, and then the second Pink Ranger, who was my favorite, actually, is in it, and then
Kimberly isn't in it.
No, Amy Jo Johnson is not in it. She couldn't. I actually just read an article the other day about. She explains why. She's like, it just really wasn't super. They were filming, I think, in somewhere in like, I don't know if it was like New Zealand or something, but like she's like, it just wasn't super convenient for me to like leave my family for like a month and go film this thing. So
she committed a lot of crimes in New Zealand.
That's why she turned it
back there.
Right? Yeah,
kind of like why Brian and I aren't going to go back to Cuyahoga Falls.
Yeah, she killed a lot of putties over there, so that's why. But the putties were the little henchmen guys that came.
Oh, okay. That makes
the Power Rangers fans that are listening are in stitches right now.
We know that.
Sure. They're rolling. Yeah. Yes, but yes, no, I'm very excited about that. Yep.
Okay, very good. Pud. And the 21st of April, I'm looking forward to this movie quite a lot. The Evil Dead Rise. So,
sure.
So Sam Raimi is a producer, as is Bruce Campbell. So it's sort of a. I'm not saying it's a reboot, but it's a storyline around the Necronomicon, the Book of the Dead. So it's along the same line as the Evil Dead movies. Looks like it takes place in an apartment building. So as always, idiots find this book and they read passages and release the demons into our realm, and they possess people and become deadites. So it looks very scary, and these are typically like very dark type. Somewhat comedies in some respects here, but looks very good, looks very scary. So I definitely want to check out Evil Dead Rise at the end of April. That'll be one I'll go to the movie theater to see as well. I just love the Evil Dead franchise. So
yeah.
Nice. Anything else coming out that you guys are interested in? You want to mention real quick? Anything else, a show or movie wise in April that's coming out that caught your eye, or not so much?
I come here for my news, so I don't know about anything that's happening until you tell me about it. So
very good.
The only thing I had listed was Renfield.
Okay, so very good. So we talked about Ticketmaster off and on a little bit here, as far as like last week we mentioned that some people are flying overseas to try to get Beyonce. Well, they're buying Beyonce tickets overseas because the tickets over here are so expensive, in part because of enormous prices plus fees. So there's now a lawsuit against Ticketmaster that I thought was kind of interesting here. So. Some people are claiming that I think it's, let's see, maybe it's fraud. They're challenging the fact that basically when you go into Ticketmaster, you have to click there's always that hidden or that real fast. By using this, you have to agree to terms of use.
Right.
And you click the box and you move forward, and people don't read it. And apparently, within the terms of use, they really make it very difficult. So if you want to challenge Ticketmaster as far as fees or otherwise, you're really giving up a lot of your rights when you click that terms of use. So it forces you to do some type of online arbitration or something like that, and you can't present certain facts. It makes it hard for the average consumer to try to win a case against Ticketmaster or something like that. So that these people are kind of challenging that whole process, and it's sort of a hidden thing. So I'm going to sort of keep my eye on this. So, again, just thought it was interesting. Where a few consumers, one being out of Ohio, there's like 3 people are going up against Ticketmaster. It seems like there's a lot up against you with this, but at least it's good to kind of call some of this, if nothing else, is sort of calling this to people's attention to where maybe just pay a little bit more attention on these terms of use when you use a service like that, because if something goes wrong, you might be making it very difficult to use. Of course, the alternative is you may not be able to get the tickets.
Right.
I don't know. Nick, any thoughts on that?
I rarely use Ticketmaster. I can't tell you the last time I purchased tickets through Ticketmaster. It's usually through SeatGeek or there's another one that's kind of like that. There was StubHub is the other one.
Yeah, that's right.
I can usually find better prices on there every once in a while. I believe Live Nation is owned by Ticketmaster, right? Or is that a different thing?
Live Nation is Ticketmaster. Yes.
Okay, so maybe I have here and there, but for the most part, I mean, a lot of the tickets that I buy for things are through like SeatGeek or something like that. Just for that very reason. So just for the simple fact, like we discussed before, I like that I know upfront when I see a price next to the ticket that I want, it's exactly like that's what it's going to be. It's already including the fees.
Yep.
So there's nothing surprising when I check out. It is what it is. It's all the, facility fees and venue fees and taxes and all that stuff per ticket are lumped in with the cost of the seat itself. So, I don't know. It's just kind of one of those things. There was a few years ago, there was like a big settlement. It was like a class action thing where if you logged into your Live Nation or your Ticketmaster account, you had like a ton of or depending on what concerts you had bought or what concerts you'd gone to or events, you had in your account thing, you had vouchers for, sometimes it was like $20 off a ticket, sometimes it was $5, sometimes it was a free like there was a couple shows I went to concerts for free just because there was some settlement and I had no idea about it until somebody's like, yeah, go to your Ticketmaster and look in your account and you've got vouchers for promo codes and you can plug them in. And so, like I said, some were for $5 off, some were $20 off, and some were just completely free. So it was, that was kind of cool. But that was actually probably the last time I bought something from Ticketmaster.
Go ahead.
We used this week. I didn't go to Ticketmaster. We're going to Boston at the end of this month, and we wanted tickets to go see the Guardians play at Fenway. So we did check Ticketmaster, and like, the fees for that, once you go to checkout, are ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like well over double the price of the actual ticket. So, since I'm not giving away any sponsors, whatever. So there's another app type site that I went to that had no fees. So what the ticket cost, and it was like almost like people selling tickets. So we got fantastic seats for a great price and no fees. So.
Oh, nice. Okay, so you did get tickets.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if not, if you're going there anyway and you're open to it, I would say that Game Time app is supposed to be great for last minute.
Okay.
If you're going to be there and you can just kind of keep an eye on it kind of thing.
We had like 3 apps kind of open, kind of looking at the same area. We knew what area we wanted to, but it ultimately ended up being better than what we were looking for.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
So, yeah, it even showed, the picture of, kind of the aerial.
Your view.
Not aerial, yeah. A view from the seat. And I'm excited. I can't wait.
That's cool.
Yeah, very good. Well, again, at the end of the day, these lawsuits, like I said, if they do anything, they create more awareness. Maybe people think twice about using that service at all and go a different route like you guys have done, or certainly just become more aware of the terms of use when you click through these. So we'll see what happens out of this here. Twitter has a very popular thing going on right now. There's you've heard of the Barbie movie that's coming out this summer, perhaps?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Margot Robbie is going to play Barbie and Ryan Gosling is going to play Ken, only because
good casting. I didn't know that. That's good.
Yeah, only because Dean was not available.
Yeah,
I believe for the schedule.
I would have made a great Barbie out. That's all I'm saying.
Instead, Dean was cast as Ken's friend that's working on some stuff in his life, Jerry.
One thing that's popular is that it's not just the Barbie and Ken that we're used to seeing, the blonde, like Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling. There's different. You're in Barbie Land is where this movie takes place, and there's different Kens and Barbies of different races and everything else. So it's kind of cool. So I think the guy that plays Shang-Chi, Simu,
yeah, that guy.
Yeah, so he plays a Ken. There's other people as well. So that's kind of a cool thing. But I guess you can go on Twitter right now, and there's a selfie thing you could do to put your likeness in a Barbie like logo
A
and
box
put a
or whatever,
description of
yeah.
yourself. Yeah, something like that. So that in itself is kind of gaining popularity on Twitter. Plus, again, the popularity of showing different Kens and Barbies of different races and color, whatever. So that's kind of a neat thing. So I don't know. So you'll probably see maybe the three of us in a Barbie logo at some point here. I'm not so sure, but
Or at the theater on opening day.
of course. Of course. That might be something to wear, Nick, maybe some of your souvenirs you brought back from Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That the kids picked up or something like that. We could check that out and go
It's a good
check
idea.
out the Ken and Barbie movie in the summer. That might be a fun
I like
evening.
that. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. And I caught this trailer today. I don't know if you guys have seen this yet, the Blue Beetle trailer. So this is becoming more popular now. So he's the first Latino live action superhero. So it's the kid Zolo Marinduena. I'm sorry, I'm mispronouncing his name. It's the kid that plays in Cobra Kai. Like the main kid, the main student. You know what I'm talking about? The Latino kid.
Oh yeah,
Dean probably would. Yeah.
Anyways, that's him. So he plays the Blue Beetle.
Okay.
The trailer looked very good.
Now this is DC, correct?
It's DC. So this is the first. This is the movie they were first. I think it was going to be just on the HBO Max at first, and then James Gunn, when they took over, they decided to make it a theatrical release. But go check this out here. It looks pretty good. So he finds this like robotic blue beetle scarab. He doesn't really know what it is, and that it chooses him, and it kind of bonds with him, and it bonds with his spine apparently, and it makes it sort of an exoskeleton, very tech suit around him. But check out the trailer. Looks like a lot of fun. This is technically, I believe, the first movie in the quote unquote rebooted DC franchise. So
this is kind of the Iron Man,
yeah,
so to speak, like the first one out the door.
You're going to have, of course, that we had the Shazam movie, which really didn't do that great. They didn't really promote it that well. It's going to come to streaming a lot sooner than many movies. It just really didn't hit. But for me personally, I have little interest to see. It doesn't look that great. I don't know. I'll check it on maybe HBO Max eventually. Then, of course, you're going to have The Flash. We talked about The Flash. That is super hyped up. That's definitely something I know that the three of us are looking forward to seeing.
I would assume we'll all go into that together.
Sure. Absolutely. We'll get the chloroform, get Nick out.
Mm-hmm.
Be good.
You'll come. You'll come.
I was just going to say I'll go only for Barbie, and then I was meant it like that, and then the more you were laying on that, I was like, I'm just not going to say that part. And then I did.
But then the Flash kind of reboots the universe, and the Blue Beetle is the first movie in the rebooted franchise, and then the Superman will be next, and this and that. So, yeah, so go check it out. So the Blue Beetle looks like a lot of fun. Coming this summer. That's it. That's what I got. Any other headlines catch your guys' eye? I'll give you an opportunity before we wrap up this segment. Anything else catch your eye, pop culture wise, you want to mention?
Nope. I everything I had written down, you just said. So
I'm just ready to fucking rock, you guys. Like I'm just ready to rock.
Let's fucking rock.
Let's
rock.
Let's
do it. Let's rock.
I want to rock.
Rock.
I want to
rock.
There you go.
That's right. Who sings that, Dean?
Twisted Sister.
Oh, very good.
Nice
on the
job.
spot. On the spot. Excellent. Very good. Okay. Well, I'm sure you. We're not going to take it anymore.
You put dudes in like heavy makeup and female clothing. I'm all over it, buddy.
Absolutely.
I know it.
Dudes in spandex? Absolutely. Of course I know who they are.
Hell yeah.
That's right.
Any guy in blush, especially from the 80s, I'm in.
Yeah.
That's right.
Most of them. Most guys in the 80s.
All right, so we're going to take a break and come back with our continuation of the Rock Band Battle Bracket. or not necessarily rock band. Battle the Bracket, band Battle the Bracket. What's it called?
Wow, this is clunky as shit.
Oh
Battle
my
of the
god!
Bands.
I just want to watch and enjoy this.
Yeah.
Battle of the Bands coming up next.
There
Brian's
you
sinking hard.
There you go.
Dunkin' Donuts knows it's not easy being a regular, everyday office worker. To prove it, we tried this experiment with KISS guitarist Ace Frehley.
Beautiful, Ace. But what about the P&L statement?
I'll give you the P&L statement.
We are looking good.
Made for the regular, everyday folks. Delicious iced caramel lattes. America runs on...
Two.
Hello out there, Convincing Idiots fans! Ow! We are so pleased to be with you, all of you beautiful people this evening. Now, we know that you came a long way. And you worked real hard to buy these tickets that didn't cost anything, but you're listening, you're spending your time, the hard-earned currency of your ears to be here tonight. Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's all right. We're going to roll with it anyway. We are back.
Mean rock and roll?
We are ready to rock and roll with it anyway. Back here on Convincing Idiots, segment number 3. And we are back with our Battle of the Bands. And without further ado, I present to you the heartbeat. Well, maybe not the heartbeat. Maybe he's more of like, I don't know, like that rib that you don't need. But he's there. He's an integral part of the team. Dean, with the bands that are still in it, the appendix. There you go.
I am the rib you got removed to suck your own dick.
That makes a lot of sense.
It sure does. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's recap last week real quick. We started with AC/DC against the Beatles, and the Beatles have moved on.
What?
That's right. You were there. We all voted. Soundgarden versus Queen. Queen moved on. Aerosmith against The Who. Aerosmith moved on. And Metallica against Led Zeppelin. Metallica moved on. So on that
just
side,
if you find real quick, sorry to interrupt, but if you find yourself listening to these decisions and you didn't listen last week and you're wondering how did this happen, feel free to go back and listen to last week's, because it was like this, segment number 3. You can skip right to that part and find it if you so choose. So go on, Dean.
You can skip it ahead if you will.
Yes.
So, all right. So after this week, or actually, I'm not sure how far we're going to go. Let's find out. What I'm saying is the next round for that is Beatles against Queen, Aerosmith against Metallica. But now we are going on the other side. Okay. This week, ladies and gentlemen, do you want to go one by? Do you want me to give you all the lineup and then
let's just knock them out as we go. Let it be a surprise. Yep.
All right. Boys and girls, children of all ages, let's start the show with Rolling Stones against the Foo Fighters.
Brian, give us your thoughts.
Tell us what you're thinking.
I like the Foo Fighters. I'm not as familiar with their entire catalog. I mean, I know some of the hits. I acknowledge they're a terrific band. Obviously, from a newer band perspective, they've been around for how many years now? What 15,
since
20
like
years?
93?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Yep. I don't know. I mean, I would venture to guess of the bands that came out of the 90s, they're still one of the more popular bands that have a huge following. They could still go on large tours and everything else. So
they did make a kick-ass movie.
They sure did. We had a lot of fun seeing that. That's right. But the Stones are just too huge. I mean, just millions of, several hundred million, I'm sure, album sales, been around for decades, super influential, somehow managed to keep, the majority of the lineup together, except for, minus, literally death of the drummer for the most part. Mick Jagger, one of the more iconic figures in rock and roll history. I think he's got a decent voice and just his whole presence out there. I don't know. Like I said, I think the Stones are just too big. So are we voting now?
No. We can go back to voting.
Making a case.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's it. So just I think the Stones just a very huge iconic band, super influential. A lot of people argue back and forth some of the greatest bands of all time. Between the Beatles and the Stones, it's typically two of the bands you get down to from the they came out of England at the very least. So if not in general. So
okay.
Yep.
All right, Nick, do you have an argument?
I have thoughts. A lot of what Brian is saying is true. Both great bands in their own right, different eras, different legacies, all that type of stuff. The Rolling Stones, though, I gotta say, I know they're one of the legendary bands, but let's face it, they're not even the best way to roll, right? We all know that the best way to roll is on an electric bike from our friends at RPM Bike Shop. Okay, RPM Bike Shop is not across the pond. Okay, RPM Bike Shop is just across the highway in Carrollton, Ohio. If you're in northeastern Ohio, our friends at RPM Bike Shop have the finest selection of electric bikes to offer you. That's right. They don't need to rely on fancy electric guitars and electric amps. No, just an electric bike. All right, for you and for you to get around your city in. So if you don't believe me, feel free to check them out for yourself. Go to Facebook and search RPM Bike Shop. You can see the fine products that they have available for you. You can even message them, and on there you will probably also find their phone number, 330-808-7792. You can give them a call, talk to one of them today, and have yourself a lovely little chat about electric bikes and perhaps your future with one. You can also go to their website. That's rpmbikeshop.com. So,
Nick, I just pulled that up on the Facebook. You tell me I could own my very one of these bikes?
You absolutely could. That could be your future. That's right. So feel free, you and Dean and Brian and me, and tell everyone you know to get an electric bike from RPM Bike Shop and rock into your electric future today.
I'm going to get so much pussy.
That's right. I'm going to beat it up. So yes, I don't really have too much to stray from what Brian said. Same deal. I love the Foo Fighters. They're a fantastic band, especially their early stuff and stuff like that. The Rolling Stones is one that I never really appreciated that much until relatively recently. And I think it's just maybe getting older or tastes and things, or appreciating different types of music in different ways. But the Rolling Stones, like you said, Brian, people often have that conversation or that debate of who's the best band ever, and they're widely considered one of the best bands of all time. And I do think they're a fantastic band. So I don't know, you summed it up really well. I kind of mirror your thoughts there. So, Dean.
Okay. Well, let me just get it out of the way. Brian, that is a valid point. People do make that comparison. Best bands ever. It's the Stones or the Beatles. All right, I'll give you that. But the Foo Fighters, especially for this it is our generation's rock band, so to speak. It is one of the last good American rock bands. You have don't get me wrong, you have a lot of different bands out there, grunge, or not grunge so much, but different genres of rock bands out there.
Yeah, subgenres of rock music. Absolutely.
There you go. That's what I was looking for. Subgenres.
Yeah,
they are like the last American rock band, just solid rock band, like the Stones. And again, I get that they're not American, but you get that what I'm saying is the last whole put together, just not heavy, not metal, not anything else, just a good solid rock band. That's why, full disclosure, they were one of my choices with the Foo Fighters because they're one of my favorite bands. They're one of my favorite bands, not just in this era, but all eras.
Yeah.
Dave Grohl is a musical genius. Anything
he's a personality genius. I just love him. His personality.
He's fantastic, isn't he?
He's just one of those people you would love to just hang out with.
Now, the question is Nick, do you want to disappoint such a personality genius by voting against him? That's something between you and your God to decide.
I doubt we're going to be shooting black tooth grins together and eating hot wings if I don't pick him. So,
if I was him, I wouldn't. But on the other hand, like Nick said, when I was younger, I didn't really appreciate them more. But the more I hang out with Brian and realize that old people do have value in this world, I did grow to appreciate them more. So yeah, I'm torn. So yeah, I think both. I could put a valid argument to both. So why don't we start the vote now? Since Brian, we started with you. Why don't we start with you again?
And Brian, the Rolling Stones were a submission of yours. Is that correct?
I believe that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Well, it's Dave Grohl is just like us, a huge talent coming out of Ohio. So he does get some extra points in that respect.
Sure. Yeah.
So there's like a mural. What town is he from? Do you remember?
He's from. Is it? Where's Modern Methods Brewing? Is that out? Where is that? Where they have Dave Grohl Alley? Is that Warren? Is that Warren?
We'll look. Maybe that's right. We'll look it up. We're in the
Warren
same mural.
Sounds accurate, but I'm looking it up here.
We're in the same mural, I think.
Warren, Ohio.
As Dave Grohl. Mm-hmm.
Warren, Ohio.
Yeah, there's not much has come out of Warren, Ohio, ever of anything, not really. So, anyway, just overall, I'm sure my age is an influence here as well with growing up and listening to the Stones. My dad was a Rolling Stones fan. I had access to Stones for local radio. You had Rolling Stones. But there's more than just the 3 or 4 songs that you hear on the airplay when you really get into their catalog further.
My dad was a fan of Jay and the Americans. I didn't add them.
Yeah. But just a lot of good stuff. And similar to the Beatles, we talked about the Beatles last week, how they evolved. They had different sounding albums and vibes, and they made a blues album not that long ago, the Rolling Stones. So overall, I got to give the edge to the Stones on this one, if nothing else, for longevity and again, just a little bit bigger of an influence, in my opinion. Nick, what do you think?
I'm thinking so. I mean, for my personal liking, what band do I put on more to listen to, or what band do I want to listen to? Like I said, they're just one of those ones that I appreciate the Rolling Stones, but 10 times out of 10, if it's a 50-50, you're asking me, who do you want me to play, Foo Fighters or Rolling Stones? I want to listen to Foo Fighters. But that's also my age and music that I grew up listening. Not grew up. Well, yeah, kind of. I mean, they've continued to make music for a long time, and they're the soundtrack of what they have made kind of goes along with many different periods of my life, and same can be said for their longevity. I just feel like, though, the Stones, this is a tough one, and tougher than what you might think just throwing up those 2 band names. It might seem like it would be an easy slam dunk for the Rolling Stones because they're amazing, but I just feel like, kind of like what you said, with the musical influence, and there again, they have so much. I really appreciate like bands that incorporate a lot of blues and things like that. And I think definitely when you adjust for the era and the time that they came up in, and I don't know, they're just they were kind of more of almost a grungier band for their time. Really, they were kind of that kind of dirty rock band, you know what I mean? And they are really, when I picture rock and roll in my head in a very classical sense, like in a very foundational sense, I think the Rolling Stones are kind of the type of band that I think of. So it's really tight. It's really, really tight for me. I would rather listen to the Foo Fighters personally. That is probably my personal favorite. But I think if I'm going for the battle of the bands, if I'm talking about like the legacy and their place in history and just their overall influence and their pull, I mean, I just can't bring myself to vote against the Rolling Stones, so I'd have to probably cast my vote for the Stones as well.
All right, well, there you have the Rolling Stones one, but I'm still going to cast my vote.
Do it.
The music.
Do it.
I have to go on musical. Not just influence, but like the what they can do, what they're able to do. Yes, the Rolling Stones
they're corpses and they still play music. What more do you want from them?
Right, but it sounds like it's all the Rolling Stones. Yes, every band has its sound, but it's I don't know. They don't do as much as the Foo Fighters do. You know what I mean? Musically, I just don't. I don't put them in the same category as the musical IQ as the Foo Fighters. And like you said, Nick, I prefer to listen to the Foo Fighters. If the Rolling Stones come on, they are great, fantastic. But I'm going to lean more on my preference for this, and I'm going to go Foo Fighters. But 2 out of 3 wins, so the Rolling Stone gentlemen, you guys win. The Rolling Stones are moving on to the next round.
Alrighty.
All right.
Who we got next?
For the next matchup, we have this. This is all right. This is the one that I told you guys last week. This is the lineup or the matchup that proves that I did not cheat, because it is the one I wanted to change when I pulled them out of the hat.
Okay.
Because it's so weird and sort of not fair. Like, it is Fleetwood Mac against Tool.
Oh, jeez.
Right. Like, it doesn't make nothing about this makes sense. So Fleetwood Mac and Tool.
Nora's putting Tool in this bracket to begin with, I think.
Oh, whatever.
I disagree with that wholeheartedly. So Brian's going to get put out in timeout for a second. So Nick, why don't you?
I will defend my submission. Tool was my submission.
Defend your Tool submission.
Start off by saying when this idea was proposed, and in my head, I'm going with musical talent. This was the second band that came to mind, because of all the bands that I've ever heard, that I've ever listened to, this is the band that second most impresses me the very most musically. There is no band from a technical aspect. Well, there's only one other band, in my opinion, from a technical aspect that is more gifted than Tool. I just think they are. I mean, they are kind of, if you're looking at progressive rock, we were talking about like the little subgenres of rock, right? Tool is a Foo Fighters of prog rock, I think. They are our generation, or the newer version of the kind of the meccas of progressive rock, with the time changes, just the what they do with the music, with sound. It from the very first time I heard them, they blow me away. They've got the hits on the radio and things like that you'll hear on your standard rock stations. But I mean, this is a band that is very strange. They only come out with an album once every. I mean, I think their last album before the 2016 or 17 album was back in 2005 or 6. They so sporadically come out with music, but they're such perfectionists about what they put out. And from a technical aspect, like I said, they're like really second to none. I'll tell you what though, and this is not, so people always used to tell me that because I was never really a big Pink Floyd fan, they go, well, you've never listened to them Stone then, have you? And I'm like, well, I don't feel like you should have to listen to a band Stone to appreciate their gift.
You should, though, have to listen to this podcast, Stone.
Absolutely.
It helps tremendously.
Sure. But do yourself a favor, and if you like to dabble in the jazz cabbage, listen to Tool. It's the happiest your brain can. It's the happiest sensation your brain can feel. I love Tool. I think they're, like I said, just one of the most gifted, musically gifted, talented bands I've ever heard. So the Tool was my submission. Fleetwood Mac is a fantastic band. They are a classic rock band. They make good music, great hooks. Just I don't need to tell anybody about Fleetwood Mac. Everybody's pretty much familiar with them. So I don't know what else to say. They're a good, solid rock band. They
and
don't
their name's Fleetwood Mac.
None of them, no Fleetwood Mac song musically has ever wowed me, I guess, or anything. It's good. It's solid
and
pop
none of
rock
them,
music, or whatever.
None of them have covered up a murder for their friend either. So they have that going for them.
So they're not good friends, is what you're saying. They're not loyal. That's what happens when you sleep with the people in the band. It starts they divide and alliances are formed. It's just bad news all the way around.
This is why
I've covered up for several Dean murders over the years. Yeah.
Well, but the sexual thing, that's why I'm pissed off when you two started fucking. I'm like, this is going to ruin everything.
Yeah, but no, Fleetwood Mac is an incredible band. I mean, obviously they're legendary, they're classics. So both and incredible bands. I'm obviously partial to one, but that's my thoughts. So, Brian, you Fleetwood Mac was a submission of yours, correct?
Yeah, I just put them in just because it just their iconic status over. You know what? And I all kidding aside, listening to you just now, Nick, you have to use one of the old show things. You have convinced me to go back and listen to more Tools. I will give them more. Yeah, I'm just not as familiar as I could be. I was kind of giving you a hard time earlier, but I will go back and listen to more of them.
You always give me a hard time.
Yes,
especially about your Tool.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Just Fleetwood Mac is just one of my favorite bands to listen to. The Rumors album alone, arguably one of the greatest rock. It's not hard rock, but just rock and roll albums, in my opinion, of all time. Just I could sit back and listen to that entire album. There's not a lot of albums that you can. I could say that to where I could just want to play the whole thing, start to finish, and just can enjoy different aspects of it. Just the vocal talent alone of Christy McVie and Stevie Nicks is just it's such easy listening, great music. Just puts me in a good mood. I like it. So that's it. Again, I'm just not as familiar with Tools. I can't really even speak to Tool, really. I can't really give them a fair assessment, to be frank. So,
and they might even be one of those bands that more of their song, you just didn't know, like you didn't realize
that's
who
probably
it was
right.
or whatever.
That's probably right. That's probably right. So I'm not even going to say.
And you may not, you just might not even like it. I don't. That's possible too.
But I'll listen. I'll listen to it. I do like different types of rock. I need to open up my taste more, and I get too stuck in the
Expand your
past.
mind, man.
Yeah, man. Come on, man. That's right, man.
Do some dope and listen to Tool, man.
Sure. Then go see the Barbie movie. That's a great That's like a good afternoon.
Fucking sick.
No, but that's it. That's it. So
I've been high for 4 days. Fuck.
Dean, what do you think?
Fuck Stevie Nicks. No, I'm joking.
We're trying, but it's not that easy, man. She's like real famous.
Yeah. No, I like Stevie Nicks. He's a good dude. All right, seriously.
Stephen Nicholas.
On tour now with actually Billy Joel. That'd be a great show.
Hold on. Why would her last name be
it's rock and roll, man? There's no rules.
Yeah.
Fuck idiot.
Because it's rock and roll, man. God, get with it. Fucking do some dope and listen to Tool.
All right, okay. Fleetwood Mac. I've always, since a child, I've liked Fleetwood Mac. It did, unfortunately, like, if I hear the fucking song Chains again, I'm going to strangle somebody. They play them so much. Again, it's not their fault. They make amazing music, or made amazing music, lyrically, instrumentally. They're like you said, iconic, to the point that, if there's any band that deserves to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, it is Fleetwood Mac. Now, let me go over to Tool. And Nick, you were slightly askew on your assessment.
Okay.
You touted their musical performances, but let's look at their fucking lyrically. What what he did. Look at, for example,
wildly intelligent, and just the depth is crazy.
Brian, write this down. If you're going to want to start with one song, go to Schism. The song Schism.
You've definitely heard this. It's probably it's one of their most popular songs. Absolutely, you've heard it.
But like, even if you've heard it, you got to hear it and like almost read the lyrics along with it, right? Because it is one long like story, but it's broken up like you would think it's, oh, you're just listening to a song with a hook. It's literally a story written out.
Yeah.
Of a breakup, and he's when somebody could go that deep and be that like wild out there with like the music and all that, it's very impressive, especially for the day and age that it was started, like where you had, grunge music and you had, off the ends of hair metal band.
They were really at the forefront of the whole industrial rock thing, kind of, and I mean, really like a progressive version of it. And
it's all very impressive.
That album in total, Lateralis, the one that has Schism on it, is just the way one song fades into the next, and it's this one giant production. It's just really well done.
So I enjoy Fleetwood Mac. I always have. And I've loved Tool, and honestly, that song there, like I've heard Tool, in my youth and whatnot, songs here and there, and it's played in the background, buddies playing it. But like when I sat down and like I was like, let me like read the lyrics, and I read the lyrics to Schism along with listening to it, and it totally changed my mind. Just knowing what they were, it's almost hidden. You know what I mean? Like how good those lyrics are. So, all right, that's mine. Nick, we started with you. Let's start back with you. Let's start the voting.
Yes.
Who do you have? Fleetwood Mac or Tool?
Yes. Like I said, both fantastic bands. For me personally, like I said, the reason I put them in there is because I feel like they're one of the most musically gifted bands, and that's kind of the criteria I was going off when I was picking my bands. And whether it's partial or there's been definitely picks I've made due to legacy and due to this band, that band, just from a musical standpoint and a technical aspect and the musicianship, and like you pointed out, Dean, the lyrics and stuff, I can't pick against Tool. I think they're one of the greatest bands I've ever heard. They're almost like a super group, but that's just what they started out as. So, Tool, I would have to pick Tool personally, but I am of course a little partial. I do really enjoy the music, but Tool for me.
Brian, what say you? Fleetwood Mac or Tool?
Well, again, I'm not as familiar with the Tool's catalog. Like I said, I need to go back and listen to it and expand. And so, again, I can't really give them a fair shake on this one. So, I might, if Fleetwood Mac was a submission of mine, I got to stick with that and go with Fleetwood Mac from their overall iconic status and just my personal preference. Not even preference, but personal. One of my overall favorite bands.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Dean.
All right. Like I said before, fuck Nick. Stevie Nicks. Stevie. I'm sorry. No. Get this. It's a slip of the tongue. All right. Nope.
Stephen Nicholas.
Stephen Nicholas. I'm down determined to let one of the newer bands through, and this is an easy one. I do enjoy Fleetwood Mac, like I said before, but Tool has a special place in my heart, and it's not just like, oh, I'm a fan. Brian, again, go back, listen to the catalog. Again, they're not probably going to take over Stevie Nicks or Fleetwood Mac for you, but I think you'll appreciate them, and you'll appreciate that they are moving on to the next round.
Okay.
Tool beats Fleetwood Mac.
Fleetwood Mac songs, I will say, are better to skateboard and drink cranberry juice, though.
Is that right? Okay. I will gladly give that a shot.
Sure.
You ever see that viral
Sounds
video?
lovely.
Never
Yeah, the guy on the longboard. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I just have to ask, because you said you wanted to change this one up because it didn't seem fair. Is that because you thought you and I would pick Tool, or because you thought Fleetwood Mac is like the
it just seems
obvious
silly.
kind of classic?
It seems silly to have those two going against each other. Like it just felt wrong. Like like it I don't know.
It's two
somebody
complete
else
polar
should've-
opposite worlds colliding. It's like it's just
Correct.
like these are different things.
And again, looking at this, I don't know if Tool would have been different against anybody else either, as in of being a polar opposite.
Right.
I mean, there are okay. They might come close to one or two of these guys in the next round, or not round, but next matchup.
Okay.
You two are going to have to do the heavy lifting on this one, gentlemen, because you have Iron Maiden against Rush.
Oh.
I am going to flip a coin, and whoever raises their hand first can go.
I didn't expect.
Take a
See,
nap.
I forgot that we did this randomly because these are two of my picks. So,
All right. Well, if that's the case, then Brian, why don't you go first?
Yes.
Actually, you know what? Here, let me go first, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Because I keep touching you, because mine's going to be very quick.
Sure.
I honestly don't know a whole lot of catalogs of Iron Maiden. What I have heard of them, they're heavy, they're fun, they're hard, just like me. And Rush is going to be more of a band that I fucking hate. So, Brian, it's your turn.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Iron Maiden, for me was definitely came out. They were very. I didn't come out when I was in high school, but they gained a lot of popularity when I was in high school in the mid '80s range. And I had some of their tapes and stuff. I think probably more because I thought they were kind of cool with the whole Eddie thing, the mascot.
Is that like demon guy? Yeah, he looks cool.
One of the greatest mascots and some of the greatest album artwork, period, in my opinion, let alone
that was our beer league on our jerseys when we were the Zombonis. We had Eddie with the hockey stick.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. So I had a lot of their tapes and stuff and album. But I didn't appreciate them even in that era, not until really later in life, to where you go back and really listen to them. And I've become such more of a fan of theirs, to a point where I've seen them live a couple of times, including went down to Columbus last October and saw them with a buddy. Just fantastic.
Yeah.
Just musically, from a heavy metal band. You talk about individual talent of every single guy in that band, from Bruce Dickinson's vocals to Steve Harris. Steve Harris is one of the greatest bass players in rock history, period. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. If you go back and listen to his bass riffs, the guy is absolutely incredible. So musically, it's a shame they're not in the Hall of Fame. It's really a travesty. So they've been.
They're not, are they? God, that's so fucking stupid.
They're on the vote again this year. They weren't. I think they're on the vote again this year. They were on 2 years ago, and I hope that they get in, really, just from a recognition perspective. Not that they really care necessarily, but like I say, musically, heavy metal, one of the greatest bands, period. Love their talent. Rush. Again, I acknowledge the fact that, again, these guys are super talented guys. Neil Peart was one of the greatest rock drummers of all time, period. Hard to argue with that. But I'm kind of like with you, D. I like a couple of their songs. I'm just one of these guys that just don't quite get it. And one of my best friends out there and a brother in the world, Tim Lester, might be listening to this. And he is one of the biggest Rush fans that there is, period, to a point where he named one of his sons Sawyer after Tom Sawyer, the song, the Rush song. So, and by the way, he has a podcast out there, Unraveling the Mystery. So if you're looking for just a fun discussion with a very smart man talking with his son about this various subject that interests him, politics, etc., go listen to Unraveling the Mystery on Spotify and everything else here, to give Tim a shout out. I know he listens to our show too, so thank you, Tim.
Nice.
Anyway, that's it. Just I don't quite get it as much, and I'm definitely a huge Iron Maiden fan. So, Nick, what do you think?
Nice. Well, these were both submissions of mine. I love both of these bands. We'll start with Iron Maiden. I picked Iron Maiden because, you covered a lot of it there, but I just think they are one of the, when you get into like heavy metal music, I think they're just the most talented band. They're fantastic. They've put out tons of albums. Like when you really go through their discography, and they're still pumping out albums, they're still solid. You don't hear as much about them anymore because it's a different era, it's a different time, for whatever reason. But my God, they're just so many great songs. One song I just got to shout out specifically, "The Wicker Man." It's such a phenomenal song. That's a more recent album. That's not more. Certainly not in the in the '80s and stuff when all they're pumping out the hits that you're familiar with. They're just a fantastic band. Like you said, they're great. They put on great live shows. They're still touring and doing their thing. Incredible musicians. And yeah, like in the heavy metal sphere, I just think Iron Maiden is probably like the most talented of them. They've always really stood out for me. So Iron Maiden was an easy pick for me. And then Rush is what you guys both said is that's how they are to people. They are polarizing. There is, I'd say, no in between with Rush. People either love them and think they're gods, or they think they suck and they can't stand Geddy Lee's voice and they don't like him. So I totally get that. For me, Rush is the greatest band. They are the best band. They're not my favorite band. They're not even one of my top 10 favorite bands, but they are the greatest band, in my opinion. They're the greatest band ever assembled. They're just musical. I will never forget. So I've always known Rush to be a three-piece band. I will never forget VH1 Classic one. It's one of my great regrets in life that I will never see Rush live in person for myself. I will never forget, I was flipping through VH1 Classic at the time, had one of the Rush tours on. I don't know which one it was. It was the one with like the little washing machines in the background, or the dryers or whatever it was, and something weird. And I remember watching that live performance of Rush, and I had no idea. There are many bands that bill themselves as a three-piece, but when they tour, they have many backing musicians, because whether you like Rush or you don't like Rush, there's a lot going on sonically. There's a lot of different instruments being played. There's a lot of different sounds coming at you. Those three fucking guys make all of that happen. Geddy Lee has a bass strapped to him, and he's got this keyboard wrapped around him, and the mic in his face, and Neil Peart's doing this. Alex Lightfoot's just wailing away like, sorry, these guys. I just remember seeing them live, and that really pushed me over the edge with them as far as just appreciating their musical prowess, their genius, and the fact
I want to watch a girl suck three dicks at the same time.
But those three guys making all of that happen sonically, it blows me away. So in my opinion, they are the greatest band of all time, bar none. End of discussion. They are the most musically gifted assembly of three guys. So Rush is the first and band that comes to mind when people talk about the greatest band, or when I'm thinking musical prowess, technical musicians, how talented they are and how gifted. Rush is I think the greatest band of all time, in my opinion. So Rush is my formal pick. Although if Iron Maiden was up against probably 70% of the other bands in this bracket, I probably would have picked Iron Maiden, as I did submit them to the bracket as well. I love Iron Maiden. I respect the hell out of Iron Maiden. I've grown up with Iron Maiden and adore them. But I just off of musical talent, I have to formally cast my vote for Rush, in vain as it may be. But that is my vote. So formal voting time, Dean.
All right. When we submitted these names for the bands, excuse me, I didn't get as excited of any of the bands as I did when I saw Rush, because I could not wait to vote no on Rush. So if the other,
I feel you. That's kind of, and it's not, but like that's my AC/DC feel. I get you, because I'm like, I don't understand. But it's the same thing. It's the voice, and it's I get it. It's just not for you, and that's. Yeah.
If I would have pulled out of the hat and Brian would have written down me taking a shit in the bowl, I've been like, yeah, I'd rather listen to that. I mean, that's not fair. I actually do want to hear Brian take a shit in a bowl. So my vote is officially for Iron Maiden. Nick, go ahead.
I already did, but
you already
Brian,
did. Okay. Yeah,
okay. I vote for Rush again. I don't know.
Yeah. Right. Dun, 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 dun. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching on YouTube, you know who Brian has voted for.
That's right.
But if it is just an audio podcast and you
Iron
are
Maiden.
not watching,
you take his life that I take. If you know Iron Maiden, you know who won too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing a great job conveying the Trooper. Fuck you. Everybody knew it. You knew what that was, right?
Yes.
Well, but
You knew
I was just telling them that he was raising the shirt, because if this is you're just listening on audio, you don't know that he was just raising shirt. You just thought that you changed your vote mid time here.
Oh,
you started singing Iron Maiden, so I was
raising an Iron Maiden shirt
Thank you.
that I got at the concert. So yes, I'm going with Iron Maiden on this one.
There we
Iron Maiden
go.
is on.
Although again, I acknowledge, like you said, Nick, I acknowledge Rush's sheer musical talent.
Yeah,
so three of the most talented guys that there ever has been. Period. I just don't get it personally. So that's it. Yeah,
no, I get it. I get you.
I will say this: after the voting's done, Iron Maiden is moving over Rush, but I will say that I can respect musically Rush and Neil Peart does and the whole deal. Musically, yes, but there's just something about his voice that just fucking rips my ass. I can't do it.
Which is weird because usually you like that. So it's just odd that when it comes from Geddy Lee, you don't like it.
Right. I like a deep bass in my ass.
Have you seen the movie I Love You, Man? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Jason Segel.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, that is a very good. It's true in the sense of that whole Rush fan trying to convince a guy that
and I love that how they highlight that fandom and how just fanatical they are about him and stuff. And it's funny because I was watching an interview with, I don't remember which one of them it was, or if it was both of them, but they were talking. I think it was Jason Segel. He was like, "Well, that's cool." He's like, "I know she got like Rush written into the script. That's really cool." He's like, "But like if you can't get them, like who you writing in instead, or who you gonna go for?" And they were like, "Oh, it's Rush or nobody. Like if they won't do the movie, we'll still make it about Rush. They just won't be in it." They were just like, "It's gonna be Rush no matter what."
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, boys and girls, we are moving on to our last matchup of this round. Boys and girls, hold your hats. We are going with Guns N' Roses against the Eagles.
Okay.
Another polar opposite matchup here. This should be interesting. I'm looking forward to hear what you guys have to say. So let's start with Brian. We're going to go back to you again to start this off. Guns N' Roses against the Eagles.
Are these both your submissions? Or no, Guns N' Roses is Dean.
Guns N' Roses was mine.
And Eagles is Brian's. Okay.
I threw the Eagles in there just in the sense of just from an overall, they're lighter rock, but just the sheer musical talent and popularity. Again, from an easy listening perspective, Eagles is way up there for me as far as just who you want to listen to. It just kind of puts you in a very chill,
peaceful, easy feeling.
Exactly. And again, the Eagles are arguably, again, you talk about sheer talent of each person in the band. Eagles are way up there.
Yep.
They're not going to play a bass riff like Steve Harris and I. That's not what they do, obviously. And it's certainly hard to argue with, album sales and overall popularity and stuff like that. So I don't know. I like a lot of their stuff. And again, the Eagles have stuff that's, it gets the deeper cuts that are very interesting. Guns N' Roses, that first album, Appetite for Destruction, I mean, it's from a hard rock album I'll put that album up against a lot of them. I mean, from start to it's another album, start to finish. Virtually every song on that entire album was a hit, even on the radio, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah,
you can't say that about many albums,
especially for that
period.
time. That wasn't a lot. I mean, that really you'd maybe get 2 or 3 songs off an album that the record label would really push to the radios, and that was pretty much you're done. That's all you really asked for.
That's right. Yeah, obviously, it was a different time back then. But again, even in that time frame, it was you had 1 or 2 songs that they would just hit. But again, a lot of them, like you say, got the radio airplay. MTV and those guys. What I appreciated about them as well, they came out like '87. So I think Appetite Destruction was '87. That was at the height of the whole glam rock and everything else. But these guys still came out jeans and just the whole t-shirt type deal, and they're just like, we're not getting into this whole glam thing. This is our sound. This is what we're doing. Obviously, had some huge albums into the early '90s. And they, certainly reunited. They're back on the road today with the successful touring and everything else here. So definitely one of my favorite hard rock bands, for sure. Even though personally, Axl Rose is kind of a weirdo and whatever. But
I believe douche is the word you're looking for.
Yeah, kind of a douchey, entitled dude. I think he's probably mellowed out over time and that type of thing. But yeah, so it's a tough one. Obviously, it's opposite sides of the spectrum, like you say, between hard rock and easy listening. Kind of depends what your preference is. So, yeah, this is a tough one. Both very good in their genre. Both very, very powerful competitors in this bracket. So,
yeah,
Nick, what do you think?
You said everything pretty well. I don't know that I know I know the Eagles radio songs. Being that I was born in '88 and raised with my father, I'm much more familiar with Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction, and like the Use Your Illusions 1 and 2 were very, very popular in my house. I'm not the bit like as far as those bands go, as like Guns N' Roses go. I know the songs, you hear them a lot, I appreciate them, very talented. They weren't always one of my favorites, but they do have those pockets like Don't You Cry, like when that is my favorite Guns N' Roses song. It's just a great ballad, and I just love the way his voice is at that range when it's not all the way up, to that octave. But definitely a very powerful rock voice, the way he gets up there, and definitely have a lot of respect for them. The Eagles, same deal. I mean, what I do know, the songs that I do know of them, I know I don't know as many as Guns N' Roses, but like you said, different kind of subcategory of rock there, but very talented in what they do. Great band, good grooves, good hooks. But I definitely have admiration for both, but certainly I was raised much more with Guns N' Roses and much more familiar with that band. So, Dean, speak a little bit on this, would you?
All right, boys and girls, what I have to say, simply, you have Joe Walsh of the Eagles. I mean, and what he, again, musically, what he could do,
absolutely,
I think sets apart from many other bands. Yes, a lot of people could say that the Eagles were, like Brian said, easy listening, but like, let's look at just the list of songs of the Hotel California. Probably one of the most famous songs. Peaceful, Easy Feeling, Take It to the Limit, Desperado.
Yeah, great.
Come on. I mean, lyrically, or not lyrically, but lyrically also, but like,
sure,
how melodic his voice is in that. It's just a beautiful song that's been covered time and time again. And I think that says something about bands or songwriters or whatever, how many times their songs have been covered. I think that says something, right? I mean, that it's so good that like everybody wants to take a crack at it. And Desperado has been covered many times. But then you go on the other side, Guns N' Roses, like Nick said, Use Your Illusion 1 and 2 were just ridiculous of what they gave the world, as in not just rock music, but music in general. What's the one song? Let me see here. No, Paradise City. No, was that the one? Is that no, not Paradise City? Which one was for Terminator 2?
A bunch of them. Welcome to the Jungle was in there.
No, that was.
What was the You Will Be Mine? You will be mine.
Yeah, you will be. Yes,
yeah.
That right there. Like the ramp up to that song. Just the build to it, and it just explodes. And this isn't an easy choice. I thought it was going to be. But when you have on one side you have Slash and the other side Joe Walsh, both are almost as iconic as each other, just in different universes.
Times. Yeah. Different different eras. Yeah.
Very. I don't know. Yeah, both are the same to me, just different genres. So,
yeah,
I will have my vote when you two are done. So, this is hard, guys. This is probably the hardest yet.
I'll start with my vote. Appreciate both bands. Appreciate the hell out of both of them. Definitely more familiar with Guns N' Roses. And of the songs that the ones you listed off there and stuff, I know those songs. I'm, familiar with the Eagles. I can hear in my head. I'm gonna come down on the fact of what impresses me more musically, from a musical standpoint. Definitely the riffs and stuff like that Slash provides, and the musical aspect of Guns N' Roses impresses me a little bit more. Is a little more pleasurable to my ears, or to my. I just say impressive when I listen to it. The way it hits me. And yeah, just the connection with it, with their music more so. I would have to cast my vote in favor of Guns N' Roses. Brian.
That's a tough one because, like I said, it depends on your. Again, it's either more difficult when we have the different types of lighter.
I will also
easy
say
listening.
The Eagles probably have better lyrics, like from a songwriting standpoint. They probably are more solid in that regard. So I would give them the edge in that category.
With that too.
Yeah, like that.
It's right. No, it's just like I said, it's more challenging when you have the different types of rock music. But if we're talking about hard rock bands, Guns N' Roses versus other hard, but I don't know. I like Guns N' Roses a lot, and like I said, Appetite for Destruction is one of my favorite albums of all time. Period. Hands down. I bought that tape back in '87 when they were just starting to hit. So the Welcome to the Jungle video was just coming on MTV. I bought the tape thinking it was kind of interesting. I remember just driving around listening to that in my car with my buddy Jim Cunningham, and it's just like, wow, this is just a fucking good album. And then you started to hear those songs come out on the radio and all that. So we were really appreciating that album right when it came out. So it just has that whole album has a whole connection with me for a lot of reasons. And some of those stuff was pretty good, the quote unquote newer Guns N' Roses, but they sort of tapered off. It was that was their sound. They had a few different things they did, but if I want to step back and say just musical talent and the library of songs that I like to listen to, period. It's hard to even say. It's almost Eagles is my submission again for this reason, because I knew it would generate some interesting conversation here. So, from a musical talent perspective,
this had to happen at some point in this whole podcast.
That's right. And you brought up a good point. Joe Walsh was, his own rock band, James Gang, before he came over to the Eagles. Another guy out of Ohio, by the way, another talent out of Ohio. Yeah, and he brought a whole different other vibe to the band, more of an edgier, So from an overall, you step back and look at the library of songs the lyrics, the vibe, the individual talent within the band, although Guns N' Roses definitely has a lot of that too. I'm actually going to give the edge to the Eagles as far as overall greatest band. It's a tough one. In part because I want to put the decision on Dean a little bit here too.
Mother.
No, but seriously, it's
you're both right.
It's an interesting argument.
There's not a wrong choice here.
There's not. Really you both made the right choice. You both 100% made the right choice. I think what it has to come down to for me is I think what it comes down to is exactly what both of you said. Your feeling to the band. Like both bands will take me back to a certain place in time in my life. But what is more influential? I hear my brother singing and along, and that's not great. But well, I hear him singing fucking both, so I should probably stop thinking about that. No, what it comes down to is that inner feeling of like joy and what makes me happy, because both bands, like I said before, are equal in their own right. It sucks that they're going against each other, but ultimately I'm going Guns N' Roses.
Damn.
I'm going Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses, just straight through, just like you said, Brian. Driving along, listen to that album, you can go cover to cover and just rock the fuck out of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it will be fun to see who wins the next round, because that will be against Iron Maiden.
Oh,
Guns N' Roses versus Iron Maiden.
Interesting matchup there.
Because actually ends our first round, boys.
Yeah.
You want to recap, Dean, with this one, and then who next week's would be? Go ahead.
This week, we have Rolling Stones against Foo Fighters. Rolling Stones moved on. Fleetwood Mac against Tool. It was a tough one, but Tool moved on.
I know that we picked them, but it sounds silly to say out loud that Tool beat Fleetwood Mac.
It does.
I mean, yeah, but it's just from a legacy standpoint, it's just kind of funny.
Sure. Iron Maiden against Rush. Iron Maiden rightfully moved on. Correct. And Guns N' Roses against Eagles. That was probably the toughest round toughest matchup we've done. If you guys probably agree with that, Guns N' Roses did move on.
Mm-hmm.
So I will show you guys, and if you're watching on YouTube, I don't know if you can see the matchup here.
Where's our graphics department at on this one?
Yeah,
I'm it, motherfucker. I'm it. So yeah. So the next one we have Beatles against Queen, Aerosmith against Metallica, and on the other side, Rolling Stones against Tool, and Iron Maiden against Guns N' Roses.
So were the Elite? How many is that left? 8? Were the Elite 8 now?
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. That's it.
Interesting ones there.
Who will move on to the semifinals? Yeah,
no, the Who lost, I thought.
Huh? That would be the quarterfinals.
The Who lost, right?
Who lost? Yeah, you're right. Who lost? They are stuck in Whoville. Boys, I don't know what you guys are looking on time, but
no.
What?
So what do you mean?
Oh, I was just going to say, let's show each other our dicks.
Oh, I got time for that.
No. You already said no.
One thing we could do, actually, that's only on the Patreon account. But one thing we could do, guys, is we can show each other some of our tattoo work.
Ooh, I can do that
on video.
Look at this.
And mine actually was featured by Scott. I don't know if you saw that or not. He's featured me on the Facebook page. Yeah,
he's
this week here. So
he's saying, "Look at the sexy motherfucker I get to tattoo."
That's right. And Scott is at the Golden Heart Tattoo in Norton. So go check them out if you're in the Northeast Ohio area. At Golden Heart Norton, Norton on Facebook. find their website, goldenhearttattoos.com, or give them a call at 234-706-2982. Get yourself a cool rock-themed tattoo. Maybe get the Rolling Stones logo or whatever the heck you want to do.
Iron Maiden.
Iron Maiden, perhaps. Get yourself a nice Eddie with the next to the Convincing Idiots logo that we assume you already have, of course.
Right.
Or maybe a mashup, maybe an Eddie Einstein mashup or something like that. I like that.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eddie and Einstein making out.
Yeah. Absolutely. So go check them out, and we appreciate their response. Go ahead.
Not a lot of people realize it, but they're located right there in Norton, Ohio. Not a lot of people realize that Norton was named after the neighbor from the Honeymooners. The city of Norton was named after the neighbor from the TV show The Honeymooners.
Yeah. And if you're over 75, you probably know that. All right. That's a nice smooth
I'm guessing that's a
lead-in,
show. I don't
Nick.
know.
The joke doesn't work if none of you fucking know who the Honeymooners are. I'm working with a bunch of children here, people. Give me a break.
That's right.
It's not even true. Like the joke is a fact that it's not true. But if you guys don't even know who, whatever.
Well, guys, I have a peaceful, easy feeling that we're at the end of another episode of Convincing Idiots. So, Nick.
Yes.
You take us out, please, sir.
I will. So, we appreciate you listening to this podcast each and every week. We would like to invite you to do so once again next week. So please feel free to come back and join us again. Before we let you go, though, we must ask that you go and find our social media accounts, like, subscribe, rate, review. All of those are on our Linktree, Convincing Idiots Linktree. Just Google that, Convincing Idiots, LANKTREE. And you will find all of our links there, as well as on our website. That is convincingidiots.wordpress.com. So, for this episode of Convincing Idiots, I am Nick.
Oh, hi, I'm Dean, the Zennial.
Gen X Brian.
Have we convinced you to check back in to the Hotel California with your 3 favorite idiots again next week?
That was a perfect Geddy Lee impersonation.
Was I supposed to be doing Geddy Lee?
Hey, Dean with Convincing Idiots. Brian and Nick here. Like and subscribe.
Ham gravy.
Hey, welcome. Not welcome, this is a fucking promo.
Welcome to the promo.
Welcome to the promo.
Welcome
I'm
to the
glad you
promo.
stopped by.
Welcome to
Hey, you see
social
the promo?
media.
I see you found Instagram. Welcome to the promo. Hey there.
What is this? Is this Instagram? What is this? Facebook? Who is this around me? Is this your mom?
Was it the Tic Tac?
Am I trapped on the Instagram?